I don't think it's necessary because I definitely have friends that, you know, them and their teachers don't have a very personal relationship.
Is that anybody I know? Are you talking about me right now?
No.
Like some of my students?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
My name is Andrew McCandless. I play trumpet, and I'm the principal trumpet player of the Toronto Symphony Orchestra. I also teach trumpet at the Glenn Gould School, which is a part of the Royal Conservatory of Music in Toronto. I joined the Toronto Symphony Orchestra in 1999, and before that I played in several symphony orchestras. I played in orchestras in Rochester, Buffalo, Kansas City, Savannah, Dallas, and went to school at the Eastman School of Music in Rochester, New York. But having done all those things in all those different orchestras, I really like it where I am now in Toronto.
I'm Patrick Smithers. I'm going into my third year of my undergrad at the Glenn Gould School, and I've been playing trumpet for 12 years now.
I first met Patrick at Trumpet Day at Western University. He played in a master class that I was giving there, and he instantly had a beautiful sound and a good sense of musicianship and a really outgoing, fun personality.
It was the first masterclass I'd ever played in, and so I was pretty nervous. I was in grade 12 at the time, and I walked out and I did this crappy little bow. And then I go to start playing and Andrew goes, "Stop, stop, stop." He's like, "That was a terrible bow. The first thing I'm going to teach you is how to bow. You know, like, take your time. These people are applauding for you. You know, take the time, do a good bow, look at the floor, and then come up, you know, be confident." So, you know, I always tell people, you know, the first thing he taught me wasn't the trumpet, it was actually how to bow. And, you know, kind of every time I bow now, I kind of think of that.
I think the most important thing about a really good student is the ability to learn how to teach yourself. And so what I often say to my students is, you know, imagine when you're practicing, imagine the best teacher you've ever had or the best lesson you've ever had. And as you're practicing your instrument and working on your music for the week, what if that person who gave you that lesson, what if they were sitting right next to you? What you're thinking is, what would that person say? And how can I learn from that? And if you do that enough times, for enough years, pretty soon that person becomes you.
I think that you have to be really patient as a teacher. And the best teachers I have had in my life, I've had a few, they've been really great people and really patient. But then you have to strike a balance between someone that's going to be patient with you and, you know, work through your issues, but also someone that's really going to push you. And I think that's something that Andrew does really well. So I think that patience and adaptability is what makes, you know, the best teachers.
I can say with Patrick, not just because he's here, because I'm a pretty honest guy. I mean, Patrick, I genuinely like him. I liked him the first time I met him. I really like his mom. I like his mom more than I like Patrick.
That's pretty typical.
Yeah, that's normal.
Yeah.
Everybody likes mom. So I've always liked Patrick. It helps me because I look forward to seeing him every week. I'm excited about the lesson, and he's always improving. And so there's always new fun things to work on with him. I get asked a lot, what do I like better? Do I like performing or teaching? What do I prefer? I far prefer teaching to performing. And the reason I prefer it is when a student gets it, when they have that moment where they've been working on something for 2 or 3 weeks, like I know they've got it before they do. But then when they realize it, that look in their eye, that, you know, it gives you chills as a teacher. I mean, you've had many of those moments where it's just been weeks and weeks and weeks, and then all of a sudden you figure it out.
He hears us once a week, and, you know, for 90 minutes, and we hear ourselves for hours every day. So it's like how people say that they don't really notice their children growing up. Yeah. And then you have relatives come over that you don't see often. They're like, "Oh, they've gotten so big." I think that's probably a pretty similar thing, because I mean, it would be so hard for me to notice the improvement I make in one day. but that like 7 days of that little improvement is probably going to be noticeable to someone that only hears you once a week.
So I've said to my students often over the years that I'm invested in them as a person first, and as a trumpet player second. I want them to be a great player, and we're going to do everything we can to make them succeed and be really great. But what I'm more interested in is that when they leave the Glenn Gould School after 2 or 4 years, that they've grown as people. And that's sure, the instrument is sort of tied to that. But I want them to be these really great, functioning, satisfied people. I love teaching. I love the puzzle of it, of having a student. You first start with them and I say this all the time to them about pieces of music. If you imagine like a really beautiful lump of clay, like very soft, very malleable, something that you can really easily shape. Like I like that, you start with that, and then you're constantly trying to help them figure out how they want to shape their voice. The best performances for me are the ones where the instrument is just an amplification for the voice.
One of the things I remember most about my couple years at GGS was Andrew was playing a concerto with the orchestra, and he asked the studio, he was like, "Oh, would you mind if I played this for all of you?" And I just thought that was, so incredible to put yourself in such a vulnerable position in front of your students. And then he also, listened to what we had to say, and I don't know if he,
Yeah, I did.
took it to heart, but
Sure, I did.
but I thought, he obviously played beautifully, and the concerts were fantastic.
Yeah, I think being wrong is not only does it happen, like it's imperative that you're wrong some of the time. If you don't think you're wrong and you think you're always right, then you're not allowing flexibility to really give that student the very best education they can get. And so what I say when they first come in, the first lesson, I say, my job here is to give you lots of information, lots of ideas about things to try. And your job is to sort through those things and find the things that work best for you. Okay.